All right. So thank you for joining us today. We are going to move forward, but before we go, to answer the question according to the Federal Reserve, how many manufacturing jobs are there in PA? And this is as of July data, 2025. The answer is, in fact, D. 561,800 jobs in manufacturing in Pennsylvania. But I want to highlight that actually tomorrow, the 19th, this data is to be updated through the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics for all employees within manufacturing in Pennsylvania. So just something to start us off with. Today, we are going to feature empowering your workforce with Penn State through their micro-credential program and also discussing WEDnet. My name is Alana Colvin, and I am going to be your host today. This webinar is sponsored by the U.S. Economic Development Administration. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us. Before we really get started, we do have to go through some housekeeping. All attendees are automatically muted. Their cameras are turned off. You can submit questions through the Q&A button. Some of you found that earlier. Awesome job. Our presenters will field questions at the end of the presentations. Follow-up questions, should you think of them later, you can either send them to PennTap, but you could also send them straight to either presenter, wherever it suits you best. This webinar is being recorded and will eventually be on our events page on PennTap's events page. You will also receive a follow-up email with a link to this recording. The agenda for today, we will begin with a quick overview of PennTap and the services we provide. Then we invite Dr. Meg Hanley to speak about Penn State's College of Engineering Microcredential program. Dr. Meg Hanley is an associate teaching professor at Penn State University and an associate director for the Engineering Leadership Development Program. Dr. Hanley's research efforts focus on workforce development, and she co-leads the College of Engineering Microcredential program. She has received 2 grants for the development of manufacturing microcredentials and has developed numerous online courses and microcredential to support non-technical skill development. Dr. Hanley will then be followed by a presentation by Shannon Monroe, who is the Executive Program Officer of WEDnet PA, a statewide program that provides training grants to help Pennsylvania companies offset the costs of upskilling their workforce. Each year, WEDnet PA assists more than 700 companies and their 20,000 employees in manufacturing, life science, energy, agriculture, and robotics and technology sectors. Prior to WEDnet PA, Shannon served as the Vice President of the Workforce Development at the Pennsylvania College of Technology and as Executive Director of the Advanced Central PA Workforce Development Board, representing 9 rural counties. We will also conclude then with a brief question answer and a shout out about the RISE PA implementation program. So PennTap. PennTap stands for Pennsylvania Technical Assistance Program. It is a grant-funded organization at Penn State whose mission is to provide Pennsylvania companies with technical assistance to access Penn State's talented faculty, staff, and students in order to solve business challenges. Simultaneously, PennTap provides Penn State faculty, staff, and students with opportunities to broaden their impact, expertise, and experiences through those engaged applications. I'm also very proud to say that 2025 marks our 60th anniversary. So if you search through PennTap's homepage online, you can scroll down and see celebrating 60 years and read about all of PennTap's rich history in supporting Pennsylvania. Highly recommend. PennTap offers 2 categories of services. We have energy and environment or innovation. Under our energy and environment category, we complete on-site assessments to help manufacturers identify opportunities to reduce energy consumption and/or pollution. We can also help our clients to procure rebate incentives and/or grant funding to offset the cost of these projects. Through our innovation services, we engage with businesses to improve their operations and drive innovation. We accomplish this by assessing the business's needs and then connecting them with the many resources available through our network of statewide resource partners. Since Penn State faculty, staff, and student engagement is a valuable resource for innovation and product process development, we can also connect Pennsylvania businesses to the various capstone courses and opportunities for industry in classroom collaborations at Penn State or collaboration with universities' research facilities, such as the Materials Research Institute or the Huck Institute of Life Sciences, this fulfilling the land-grant mission of Penn State. Penn State services are offered statewide through our regional network of PennTap advisors who are all embedded within the communities we serve. Our team offers a combined 200 years of experience and is comprised of chemical engineers, electrical engineers, mechanical, environmental scientists. The PennTap team includes certified energy managers, a professional engineer, certified Six Sigma Green Belts, and a certified water professional, and also a lead at Green associate. If you would like to talk with a regional advisor about your project or about workforce development, I would recommend going to our website and completing the Contact Us form. This would effectively get you into our queue. I am also very proud to say that in 2024, we helped Pennsylvania small businesses achieve $14.3 million in economic benefits across 34 counties, educating over 1,200 individuals and saved or created 80 jobs. We are working on collecting our 2025 impact data now through the end of the year, and we're really excited to see how this year is shaping up. With that, I am very pleased to present Meg Hanley and her discussion on her microcredential program.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And let me just get my, can you all see my screen?
It's not in presentation mode. There we go.
There we go. Awesome. So thanks everyone. Very happy to be with you today. My colleague Andrea Gregg is also on the call, and she is instrumental in helping us put out these microcredentials into the world. And so what are microcredentials? If there's a lot of microcredentials and different definitions, but generally speaking, microcredentials are defined as short, focused learning experiences that certify mastery of specific skills or competencies. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is our microcredentials that we've created here at Penn State and how they can support your workforce development and training efforts. So, sorry, get my clickers correct on the right screen. So what are microcredentials, and or what is industry talking about regarding microcredentials? And more companies are using microcredentials to help fill gaps in training programs because these are short, focused courses. They offer alternative pathways above and beyond the traditional degrees to get training for your people. So microcredentials are different from a traditional degree in that microcredentials are hyper-focused on a single topic, and the skill can be taken applied immediately into the job duties that someone is working in. So as a traditional degree usually is a generalized credit, and requirements and skills aren't always immediately relevant to specific job duties. These microcredentials and why we are engaging with them is that they're more agile and we're able to adapt more quickly to the needs that industry has around training and development, and also all of the new technology that's coming so quickly at us. We can develop them more quickly. So traditional degrees, while offering a wonderful foundation for learning, it's very hard to adapt and be agile within the classroom setting. And then with our microcredentials, our microcredentials are taking a month to complete, and it's about 3 to 5 hours of work. Whereas a traditional degree, it's a full-time student load where they're working across a semester. So these are some of the differences. While both are very beneficial, microcredentials can come in and really fill those gaps that we're seeing with advanced technology and needs of the workforce. So industry can benefit from this because it's just-in-time training that aligns with your needs. Our microcredentials specifically are a hybrid approach where students have asynchronous online learning on their own time, combined with synchronous learning with Penn State faculty and experts. These skills and how we're developing these micro-credentials are relevant immediately and very flexible with people that are currently working or have busy lives where they're trying to upskill and reskill for a new job. And also affordable pricing, because they are shorter courses, shorter time frame, they're more affordable. But micro-credentials, they're very job specific, they're verifiable and recognized through Penn State, and their immediate application to the workforce. So where do we fit into these definitions, right? So our vision is to be a leader in offering high quality online learning experiences in the form of micro-credentials that are co-designed with industry to rapidly respond to workforce training and development needs for both students and professionals. And so once someone has completed a micro-credential with us, we verify that through the digital badges that you see on this screen. And the metadata and what they have learned can be gained from clicking on that badge and seeing what they've learned through that experience. So for us, we define a certified micro-credential as, again, in collaboration in response to industry needs. We work with instructional designers that are highly trained to develop quality online courses, and that's Dr. Greg's impact here in this program and where she is working to really make sure that we are doing that. Competency-based. So when I'm teaching one of these courses, when a student has demonstrated to me through completion of assignments, as well as some of the discussions, I can award the badge to them because I can say they can do or they understand these things that we have discussed throughout the 4-week micro-credential. That's reflected in the digital badge that they receive. And our micro-credentials are only 4 weeks in length. And depending on the topics, it's 15 to 25 hours total learning time. And that's what we like to call read, watch, and do. So that's the learning, the watching, the reading, and the doing of the assignments. And as I mentioned, we also have added in a hybrid approach where we have 1 hour a week of a live session with our expert faculty or industry experts that we might bring in. So that's how we are describing our micro-credentials and how we are organizing them. Our micro-credentials are currently offered in to a few different audiences. Our Career Plus strategy aimed at engineers that are working in the workplace and want to upskill for higher level technical skills, as well as non-technical skills, such as your leadership, project management, business fundamentals, those kind of courses that we offer. Our skill pathway is what I'm talking to you most about today, and these micro-credentials were developed off of the grant we received from RK Mellon as well as PADCED, and we developed 13 micro-credentials to help upskill and reskill for modern manufacturing. And then our third category is targeting our students, and those students are currently at Penn State are working through those micro-credentials. We're working to get them more career ready to hit the ground running based on what industry is telling us students need to be more ready, really trying to address those skill gaps there. So here's some feedback from students and what they have been telling us over the course of offering these micro-credentials over this last 1.5 years. The hands-on methodology and trainings accommodated to day-to-day while working full-time. So again, really getting at that flexibility for adult learners to be able to take these courses. Just the way the courses were designed and the concepts were clearly explained. So that speaks to our ability to create these quality online learning experiences. And then the insights provided from our the live sessions have been really what we hear a lot, that students really like those live hands-on or the live sessions, and also how they're able to take this and apply it directly into their career and what they're learning. So we're really getting a lot of great feedback from these courses that we've taken. Our skill pathways, again, is what I wanted to talk to you about today. And these are 4 series of courses aimed at manufacturing jobs. And so I'm going to walk through each one of the 4 that you see on the screen here now. So our first one is a Starting a Career in Manufacturing series. So each of these courses, again, is a month long, offered online, but with that hybrid approach where you have an option to meet live once a week with our faculty and experts. These courses are really targeting those that want to enter into manufacturing or are coming into manufacturing. So for people that maybe want a career change, or those that are maybe in an apprenticeship program or have just started within a manufacturing organization. So we have essentials of modern manufacturing. What is it? What can you expect? We talk about safety and, what is a manufacturing, different types of manufacturing career options. We then move into data for modern manufacturing. This course was very popular in our first iteration, and this really gets at the why data is important to understand, even in an entry-level job within modern manufacturing. We then move into the role of automation and how automation systems and how to work with those systems and how it can improve manufacturing. And then our career success for manufacturing is designed to address professionalism issues, communication skills, and also just helping someone get ready to apply for a job in manufacturing. And again, this is a great series to potentially include in an apprenticeship program or for those that you might be just coming into your organization. So more for onboarding. Our next series in robotics, again, there's 3 courses in this, all over a month period. We have an introduction to robotics, the electrical systems course, and then our robotics maintenance, troubleshooting, and safety. What I really love about what we did with this course, we did introduce some digital twin concepts into the robotics maintenance, troubleshooting, and safety, and we're able to have some hands-on online learning through that digital twin. So it was a really fun way to introduce that into our online learning environment. Our additive manufacturing course, again, these 2 courses, series of courses in robotics and additive are really great for those that want to upskill and reskill. Again, the essentials is really just digging in, what is it? And what are those processes? What do we need to understand about additive manufacturing and why it's important? We have basics of computer assisted design as our second course in this series. Students will get hands-on learning using CAD. We give them access to software to be able to practice using CAD and designing in CAD. And then the third one, we use design principles and concepts in addition to CAD to really design for utilize those skills for designing for additive manufacturing. Our last series is on those professional skills or 21st century skills for manufacturing. We have a course in inclusive teaming, communications for technical professionals, and then professionalism. These courses are great for those that want to go perhaps into leadership roles, also for your apprenticeship programs and those at the entry level, really trying to enhance those non-technical skills. And the other micro-credentials that we offer through our program, we have leading technical teams, project management, business fundamentals, and we have an entrepreneurship slant for our micro-credential courses, designing, so design thinking, and a product launch course. And then we're building courses this coming year in AI for manufacturing and battery systems management. You can learn about all of our courses through beyondengineering.psu.edu. And I'm going to jump just to a quick second. We have email me at microcredentials@engr.psu.edu. I can also drop my full email in the chat as well. But make sure you're following us on our different social media channels at PSU Beyond Engineering. And just for attending this webinar today, you have a discount code for our courses using webinar 10. So if you want to take a screenshot of that or write that down, you can enroll in our courses for a discount. We also offer discounts for cohorts within your organization. So if you want to send a group of people through this, we offer a deeper discount for those cohorts. So you can reach out to me to learn more there. And then we have a webinar next week with our additive manufacturing faculty who leads that series that I talked about. It's what, when, and how to leverage additive manufacturing. This is free, and it's at 12 p.m. next week. I will also drop the link to register for that in the Q&A so that you can have that as well. So that is the end of my presentation. I wanted to turn it over to one of our students, Mr. John Lavelle, who has taken a lot of these courses that I talked about today. And I'm going to stop my share so you can see him. And John, I just wanted to introduce you to the group. If you want to just yeah, introduce yourself and your background, and then what attracted you or motivated you to enroll and complete these courses would be the first question.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Hanley. My name is John Lavelle. I am, under full disclosure, an employee of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry. I work in our design and renovations section, and I lead a program for this section around the procurement for projects that we complete for state-owned facilities across the Commonwealth. In a discussion with my immediate supervisor at the 1 year mark, as we reviewed my performance, he had indicated that one of the goals that he thought we could both share is for me to get some additional exposure to AutoCAD. I found that a little interesting because prior to joining the Commonwealth, I spent 2 years with Autodesk in a leadership role where I executed a corporate initiative to expand our sales channels prior to the global financial crisis of 2008. So I've did a career pivot since then, joined the Commonwealth, and it was through that exploration of looking for some resources for Autodesk software that I found out about this program. Once I joined the program, I became intrigued in the other offerings, and I've been participating in the skills pathway for career success in manufacturing. But when I look back at my career, which is probably 4 decades now, probably 75% of my time I've been in manufacturing in some capacity, whether it's been customer service, contract management, sales, production supervision. So to me, participating in these courses really kind of completes full circle everything that I've done in manufacturing, and it's been most enjoyable. I've had a chance to participate in the additive manufacturing class with Dr. Goharan, with the automation class with Dr. Kavalunko, Dr. Morali in 2 classes, along with Dr. Hanley and Dr. Kufi. I think I'm running out of classes, which is probably a good thing.
Yes, you are.
And I do agree with what Dr. Hanley says about the material. However, my processor is still at a Pentium 1 or Pentium 2, so I take a little bit more time to complete the work. But it is available 24/7, and it's very, very well done.
And John, what part of the experience has been most impactful to you?
Candidly, it's been the interaction with some of my fellow students and the exposure to the faculty and the resources that the faculty has brought into the courses. So in several instances, had an opportunity to interact with a gentleman that previously was in the United States Army as a military officer, graduated from West Point, was a chief operating officer of a local manufacturing facility, but prior to that had worked for the National Institute of Standard Technology and also at the Pentagon, and shared with us some of the challenges that their businesses face and how we can be better prepared to work in that environment. Also, some of the graduate level students we get a chance to interact with. One gentleman in Dr. Goharan's course was graduating on a Friday and joining a national medical university to work in their design area to be able to help physicians save lives and create new ways for people to have mobility, and use all of his learnings in mechanical engineering. So those types of things I found most enjoyable to learn and be exposed to.
And that's great too, because I know something that Dr. Greg and I work on a lot is really trying to make sure that there's interaction through these online, meaningful interaction through these online courses. And so I'm really happy to hear that that's happening. How do you think these courses can help those who work on a manufacturing floor?
Well, thank you very much for that question, Doctor. So, just the simple term factory, the course material across, I think, 13 or 15 courses absolutely overlay what happens in the factory. So first, students learn about the flow. They understand how efficient movement is needed in the manufacturing environment, and how the flow is central to just-in-time systems and lean manufacturing. They get exposure to the control systems for automation and robotics, and the need for minimal interaction, and why it's important for automation to be efficient and precise. In the computer-aided design section, which I have some experience in through my time at Autodesk, I learned a little bit more about the CAM systems and how that was integral in design with the 3D modeling. You'll go through exercises in Dr. Kufi's course on tolerances and being able to do some of those mathematical computations to make sure you understand how critical it is for parts to have the right form, fit, and function. you'll be exposed to operations and how, the machining, inspecting, and packaging is all core to the production cycle. And then we'll learn a little bit more about robotics and how that's becoming more and more widely used. And it helps with the speed, the safety, and the quality. And then the overall desire for every factory is to get the maximum yield. And students will have an opportunity to apply those techniques and learn about the yield through some of the courses that are available. So when I look at the program, I call it the Lion's Edge. It's really an employee-driven, guided experience, and you apply a number of these courses. You really underline what it means to work on the factory floor.
Awesome, John. Thanks so much. And yeah, John's been instrumental in helping me think more creatively about how to talk about this with his Lion's Edge idea. So really appreciate you, John, and having you in the class. And thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
And with that, I'll turn it over to Shannon to talk about how you all can get some support in helping people go through these classes. Shannon?
Thank you very much. And thank you, Alana and the PennTap team for the invitation to talk about the WEDnet program today. I really appreciate it. I'm going to give a very brief overview of the program. I do want to point out that in order to inquire and apply for funding through WEDnet PA, the portal on the webpage is at wednetpa.com. And on the top right of the screen that appears is an apply button. You will, at that point, follow directions to apply based on whether or not you had previously accessed this program. And that delineation is important because in the last year, we have completely moved the program onto a Salesforce platform. So we morphed all of the old data into a new system that's hopefully easier and more streamlined for companies to use this year. I'd also encourage you to follow WEDnet PA on LinkedIn for information and testimonials from companies that have used it over the past couple of years. The LinkedIn page will also contain information about when companies can apply each year. And the applications are currently open. Our portal's open for applications for this year. I do want to unfortunately say that we are tied to the passage of the state's budget. And unfortunately, the state's budget is not passed at this point in time. We are accepting applications, but because of that impasse, we do not yet have the ability to enter into contracts with companies. So that piece of it is not working or functional until we have a state budget passed. But that does not preclude companies from going in and filling out an inquiry and applying for funding for this year. And I will talk about how to go about that in the coming slides. For some background on the WEDnet program, which WEDnet stands for the Workforce and Economic Development Network of Pennsylvania. It has been part of the Pennsylvania state portfolio since 1999. So 26 years of operation in Pennsylvania under the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development. It's administered by Pennsylvania College of Technology through a network of 22 partners, and I'll show you a map in a moment of where those partners are located. We provide grants to Pennsylvania companies to upskill incumbent workers, usually between 5 to 750 companies annually, depending on what our budget is. So a pretty substantial amount of companies have benefited from these grants in Pennsylvania, and between 20 to 25,000 of their employees annually receive some type of training that has been touched by funding through this program. Our ultimate goal is to make companies more competitive nationally and globally by improving the skills and retaining their employees and thus retaining these companies in Pennsylvania. There are many programs out there that focus on bringing companies to Pennsylvania. This is one that focuses on retention of Pennsylvania companies. And we, as I mentioned, have just transitioned to a Salesforce platform for our entire process application and handling the invoicing. So we are making it as easy and responsive to employer needs. The WEDnet partnership, and you'll see this graphic that lists all of the partners across Pennsylvania. They are geographically dispersed to be able to help companies across the entire state with the application and invoicing process. So if you have any questions at all, if you go to the WEDnet PA website and click on the partner tab, you will see the email addresses of any of the 22 partners that are designated on this screen. I work in the statewide office. I do help support all of these partners if they have a question that comes from a company that they're unable to answer about eligibility or any type of unique situation. We know that those arise continuously. We are able to handle these requests through this network. Companies choose which partner they want to work with. Many of these partners have training programs that are also eligible for WEDnet funding, but it is completely up to the company about the type of training. It can be multiple trainings on a training plan that are submitted to us for approval. And we really believe firmly that company choice is critical to the success of this program. So while most companies choose a partner that is closest to them geographically, I just want to point out that that is not necessary. A company can choose any of these partners to help them navigate the process. The application process, as I mentioned, goes through the Isaac, we call the portal Isaac on the WEDnet PA website. We launched this Salesforce platform in December 24, so it's less than a year old at this point, and we are, in full disclosure, still working out some bugs with it, and we are happy to get feedback and be able to make improvements to the system as we operate. The partners assist with the application process, but they can also help companies who are struggling to come up with a training plan for their workforce. Partners then prioritize applications and recommend grant amounts. We do prioritize applications based on the size of companies because one of the pivotal components of this program is that we work with small and mid-sized companies across the state. And we also prioritize the type of training. It obviously needs to be skill building within an organization. So the micro-credentials that were just mentioned are certainly aligned with the type of training that we are looking for on a training plan. Then my office reviews these applications as they come in and we approve awards. Again, I'm stuck right now on the approve award phase of this as we don't have a state budget, but we are accepting these applications and can move them through the entire process so that we are ready to go when the budget is passed. Companies obviously choose their own training providers. In many cases, there are multiple training providers on a single training plan that is submitted to us. And over the years, we have worked with literally thousands of companies and thousands of different training providers that they select. And when the training is complete, we use that same portal for companies to submit the required documentation to be reimbursed for eligible costs. So for the company eligibility, the company must have a physical location in Pennsylvania, and they must be in an eligible industry. The industries changed this year slightly. So this is a shift that aligns the program with Pennsylvania's 10-year strategic plan for economic development that was put out by Governor Shapiro back in 2024. The focus industries are agriculture, industry, energy, life sciences, manufacturing, and robotics and technology. We are specifically requiring that a company provide their NAICS code. NAICS stands for North American Industry Classification System Code. It is a code that helps identify what the industry is most aligned with in terms of one of these sectors. Once that is submitted to us, we review it and make sure that the alignment is there. I will say that if you are a manufacturer, you are eligible for the program. There aren't exceptions in manufacturing. Some of the other areas, we've had questions about engineering firms, architecture firms, those types of support industries like warehousing that are not eligible for the program. So if you have any questions about your eligibility, certainly inquire with one of the partners so that we can check for you and make sure that you are eligible. Companies can receive funding 2 years in a row or 3 years out of any 5-year period. And this is in place because every year we usually have 2 and 3 times the number of requests than what we have funding available. So it is very important to get an application in early with us. And it's important to us to make sure that we are serving as many companies as possible. So we do require sit-out years for companies that participate in multiple years. The maximum grant amount is $2,000 per eligible employee. And because of this heavy focus on retention, we are also looking at employee retention rates within a company. So your employee turnover rate needs to be less than 25%. For your employees to be eligible, they must be a resident of Pennsylvania and they must be employed at the location that receives the grant. This is important, and I will say that we worked with many companies that are on Pennsylvania borders with other states. If you have employees that are in the same class that live in multiple states, we do reimburse for the Pennsylvania residents. We unfortunately, because this is a grant-funded program, do not reimburse for non-Pennsylvania residents. The employee must earn at least $16.74 an hour. That is determined through the state of Pennsylvania, and it is subject to change annually. So that is the minimum rate that an employee can earn that that works at this specific location that received training. So it doesn't mean that all of the employees at your facility need to earn this much, but the ones that benefit from the training do. They must be permanent employees, so not temp employees, and they have to be eligible for full-time benefits. The employee also must be legally eligible to work in the United States. Training eligibility can take almost any form, and it can be instructor-led, online, or self-study. It can be delivered by a third-party provider, in which Penn State is considered a third-party provider, one of the WEDnet partners that you're working with, or your own in-house staff if your company has less than 500 employees. So if you are doing a train the trainer event and you doing train the trainer training and you are bringing that back to your company, the employee's wages can be reimbursed for during that type of training. It has to be skill building for the current job that they're in or for an advancement or a promotion within the organization. The training also has to have occurred between July 1st and June 30th of the fiscal year in which the grant is provided. Costs must be reasonable, and there are definitions of all of this and what we're looking for. If you go to our webpage, wednetpa.com, at the bottom of the page, there are some information packets to help with our eligibility criteria so that you can make sure that what you're submitting will in fact be reimbursed. And then each training session has to be a minimum of 30 minutes in length. We ask when companies are putting together their training plan to categorize the training into one of these areas, and we do have examples of that in our company guidelines. But traditionally, every type of training that is delivered is reimbursed through the WEDnet program fits within one of these categories. The outcomes of the program have been exceptional. We do surveys with companies at the end of each fiscal year, and these are some of the results that have been provided. We do ask that if you do receive a grant, that you take the couple of minutes of time at the end of the fiscal year when we survey all of the recipients to fill out a survey that we produce. And these are the survey results from last year. I'm in the process of gathering all of the data for the end of 2025 now. We are seeing very similar results to these in the last year. Unfortunately, we had a late start last year as well. We are, again, focused on making sure that we address and handle these requests as soon as possible when they come in, and the partner network is really great about doing that. As soon as a Pennsylvania budget is passed, we'll be able to move these applications as quickly as possible through the pipeline. We currently have hundreds of applications in the queue. So we are working through prioritizing those applications now, but we are still accepting them, and we will accept them through the end of this fiscal year for any company that is eligible and that has training that aligns with the requirements for the program. So since I have a couple of minutes, I'm going to get out of here, and I am going to share the WEDnet webpage so that I can show you. Okay, can everyone see? Okay, let's move this. Can everybody see the WEDnet webpage on their screen now?
We see the program and your background, the partner
Okay, so
evaluation
that did
report.
not work. Let me
You did
see.
have it there
Okay,
for a moment.
let me see.
There it
Okay,
is.
now, okay, good. All right, so this is the WEDnet PA webpage, the homepage that comes up when you first log on. The apply button is here. So this is where you click to apply. And once you hit the second apply button, we do just wanted to make sure that companies are aware of the company guidelines and making sure that they're eligible. This apply button takes you to the Salesforce platform. So once you hit that, you will be prompted to answer a question about whether or not you have accessed funding through the portal previously. And that will direct you the way to put in an inquiry about funding for this year. I also want to note on this web page what you can find to help you navigate this process. So each year we do an annual report. This shows the end of fiscal year 23-24. We're currently working on the annual report for fiscal year 24-25, which will show up here in the next month. That gives an outline of what we did over the last fiscal year. The fiscal year 25-26 company guidelines are critical to understanding how to fill out our application and process through the invoicing phase of this. We also have a brochure here, a funding guide that is just a very basic short description about the program. So if you want to talk to somebody else inside your organization, that's a really good starting point for basic information about the program, similar to what I shared here today. And then we've also put together some quick start guides for companies as they navigate the Salesforce platform. Since we were on a platform previously that many of the companies had become accustomed to, we put together this guide to help navigate the new system. So I did notice this morning that these are out of order, and it's taking us a bit to get these corrected, but the fifth one here, the inquiry, application, and contract quick start guide, is really where companies should start. And then once the contract is in place and invoicing begins, that's the second guide to help through the invoicing process. So on this web page, the most critical pieces are the apply button and making sure you know where to go to get information about how to process through the inquiry, application, and invoicing phases of the program. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. I know we have a couple of minutes here to do so.
Thanks so much, Shannon. We will go into questions. So there is an anonymous question for Shannon. We are a approved third-party provider. I am relatively new to WEDnet process. Do you have any available resources online that would be beneficial for me to dive deeper into detail?
Okay, I
That
need
may
a
have
little
been addressed.
I need a little bit of information about what they mean by third-party provider.
Hmm.
And
Which- Yeah.
if this person has departed from this call, and maybe you might know who this is behind the scenes, I'd be happy to talk. Okay, I can, yes, there. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Any other questions for Meg or Shannon? Again, you have to use the question and answer form. That is the way to bring out questions. We don't have a generic chat like meetings may. Let's see. Answer dismissed. What is your email, Shannon?
My email is smunro, SMUNRO @pct.edu. And I think I can type the answer in here, and I'll do that so that you have it. Although I'm not sure about the question specifically, I will say that we actually don't approve if the question is around training providers, we don't approve training providers. It is company choice. So the company chooses their training provider, and we have not put out a list of approved training providers because it would just be thousands of them that we work with annually. And therefore we don't approve training providers.
Well, as people think of their questions, I am going to take fair. So you guys can definitely connect online, offline, and
Great.
dive
I'd be
deeper
happy
into those
to.
questions. Yeah. But yeah, so one of the shout outs, if anybody has a question, we will jump back to it. But I wanted to give a shout out to Rise PA, the small award track program. It would be going into its second round this September. We are going to open any day now for the second round. And just wanted to throw out there that the RISE PA stands for Reducing Industrial Sector Emissions in Pennsylvania, RISE PA. And it's a $396 million statewide industrial decarbonization grant program funded through U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, Climate Pollution Reduction Grants Program under the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. And there's a lot of acronyms in there, but we just read them all out for everybody. The purpose of the program is to offer grants now just for the small scale projects to help decarbonize the facilities, the manufacturing facilities, to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and co-pollutant emissions. The larger award tracks, there was a medium and large award track that have been advertised this past spring and summer. That program has closed for applications at this time. So it's just the small award track that would be going into round 2. Again, any day now this September, and we'll run through December. If you're a manufacturer who has a decarbonization program or a project in mind, and that can be an energy efficiency project, something that reduces reduces your electricity consumption, something that reduces natural gas, fuel of any type, adding in renewables or taking into ventilation or reducing refrigerants or other welding gases. Any of those can be viable projects. And there's also an apprenticeship component. So as Meg and Shannon have talked about the different types of programs and trainings out there, there are opportunities to utilize both of those programs in sync with the RISE PA program. So definitely take a look at WEDnet, take a look at the microcredentials, and see if RISE is a fit for your location, your manufacturing location, and see if we can't make it all work across all the programs. All right. And with that, I don't see any more questions coming through. Just verify. All right. Well, thank you everybody for your time today. And if you do have questions, please feel free to reach out to PennTap, to Meg, and or Shannon, depending on your question. We look forward to sending an email out to all y'all, and it will have a recording of this, and the recording can also be found on PennTap's website. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, John.
Thank you.